Hi, I'm Rhys Darby, and you're listening to ShowbizMonkeys.com.
Around this town, I'm alright. Around this town, I'm alright. I mean, no consequence when you playing with the fire.
The first thing I want to ask you is, anytime I get to talk to a comedian that's more physical and really uses their body, it's not just straight stand-up, do you have a pre-show ritual to make sure you don't hurt yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I just do stretches, absolutely. Yeah. I stretch, and you have to. Mm-hmm. But that's all. That's really all I do. I don't do any special prayers or anything.
Not even for all the sound effects and stuff?
Oh, no, I don't even really do much of a vocal warm-up. But I do have to make sure that my voice is okay. So that happens all throughout the day and leading up to any shows, drinking special teas and taking lozenges and things like that to make sure the voice is good, because otherwise I can't hit those highs.
Yeah. I've heard a lot about drinking flat Coke beforehand that like coats your throat so you don't hurt it before. Apparently it's an old opera trick that George Carlin used to do.
Flat Coke. Oh, I'll remember that.
Don't blame me if it goes horribly wrong.
What about Pepsi?
Test it.
Not as
Never
good.
Pepsi.
Yeah.
Something terrible happens.
Okay.
I was just wondering, because you're a dad, have you taught your kids any of the sound effects, or can they do it on their own?
Yeah, I haven't really sat them down and gone through it with them. Okay, this is you must learn this. Mm-hmm. You've come of age, but they do watch some of my stand up and they do copy me, especially the young 7-year-old. He likes to do some of the beatboxing stuff, and he's got some of the noises down already.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's
so neat. Does it drive your wife nuts on occasion?
Yeah, she can't stand any of the noises, so we're getting yelled at all the time.
So, again, because you're not straight stand-up, last night what I saw, I would lean towards like a one-man show, Fringe kind of vibe, which is very neat. And you got a standing ovation, so congratulations on that. But now that you're living in the States, do you find you need to tailor your act or market yourself a different way? Because like Canada, we still have a Fringe history and see all the stuff coming over from the UK, but...
No, because I mean, in the States, predominantly I'm there acting and doing my TV and film acting roles. So I don't do a lot of stand up there. But when I do it, I do what I do, and the audience just go with it. And generally, it's fans turning up anyway. They're used to what I'm doing. And if they're not used to it, then I guess it's a point of difference for them, and they'll like the novelty of it.
Probably refreshing.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm certainly not going to stand there and just be like every other American comic and moan about the government or whatever they do. I'm going to do what I do, and as long as I use words that they can understand, then that's it. Yeah, stick to your guns.
Yeah, perfect. You're known for Flight of the Conchords, obviously. I just had a question as a fan. When you did the radio series, Murray's name wasn't Murray. Why did they switch it for TV?
Because the BBC owned that production. So when they went to America, they didn't want to have any issues with character names and things like that, with BBC jumping in and going, hey, this is our show. You can't.
Okay.
Yeah, so just for those reasons, they changed the name of the character.
Did you prefer a name?
I love Murray now. Because what they did was they took 2 All Blacks, New Zealand rugby players, and they put their names together. Hewitt, there was someone Hewitt, and there was someone Murray. I'm not a big rugby enthusiast. I don't know whose idea. It might have been, I can't remember. One of them did it. And they put those together, and it just came out. There's a very quintessential sounding New Zealand name. And the previous name, which I came up with, because it was my character, Brian, I think is a great name for a manager. There's been a lot of famous Brian managers, and I don't know where Nesbitt came from. I like the sound of it. So yeah, that is a good fan question.
I also noticed when researching, there's a lot of fan photos of them dressed up and dressing up their kids as you for Halloween.
Really?
Have you seen?
As Murray Hewitt?
Yes,
mean?
as Murray
Yeah,
Hewitt.
I've seen a few back in the day. I haven't seen kids dressed up as Hewitt.
It's
really
pretty adorable.
Oh, that's awesome.
You haven't had like a narcissism moment of dressing your kids up as you for Halloween just to see?
No, I haven't. No.
That's good. That's healthy.
Yeah, dress up like one of my characters. Come on.
You were in the Army,
Mm-hmm.
and unless my information is completely wrong, you did Morse code work.
That's right.
Would you say you took any of that over to comedy other than the sound effects?
I definitely took some of the characterizations and the authority from the Army into my comedy, and the self-discipline of getting up and doing your own thing and not stop until you achieve something from my military background. But other than that, that was really it. I mean, I've done a bit of Morse code comedy, and I do tell stories about my Army life in my comedy. But really, when I was in the Army, I was being a comedian as well. That's one of the reasons I had to leave. I was making people laugh and wasn't really taking it seriously enough. Yeah.
My grandfather used to do that for the railroad.
Oh, really?
And so I know when I was a kid, when my grandparents wanted to have a private conversation in front of me, he would tap on the table to my grandmother, so he taught her a little bit.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing is you summited Mount Kilimanjaro.
That's right.
Point?
Yeah.
That was for...
It was for charity. Yep. And I nearly died.
Yeah.
I was ill at the time. When I say ill, I just had a sore throat.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing major, nothing that you would normally. But then there was a sign halfway up the mountain that said, if you've got a sore throat, do not go any higher. But I kept going because I just didn't want to let down the charity.
Yeah.
And I got there, but I nearly died. It was. I would never climb another mountain again in my life. I've said that, and like months later, I got a phone call. Please do Everest for another charity. And I love, obviously, doing charity work. But enough's enough.
Writing a check is safer.
Yeah.
Yeah. If only you'd known about the flat coat thing before you climbed the mountain.
Absolutely.
I have also heard rumblings on the internet that there's a Flight of the Conchords season 3 that they're working on.
Oh. First I've heard.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm kind of known in the Toronto improv community of doing like the worst intros for other stand-ups where my information's all wrong. So I was really interested to see what would go horribly off on this. The other thing I heard is, are you working on a spin-off series from What We Do in the Shadows called We Are Wolves? Or is that just...
No, that would be another movie. That would be the sequel movie that we've definitely talked about that.
Okay.
But since we've put that out there, Taika's been real busy making Thor, and he's been on that for like 10 years, feels like. So I have no idea if that's ever going to happen, other than, hey, that would be a great idea. Yeah.
I want that to happen very badly. I love that film.
Same.
Yeah. You were just in the new Jumanji movie that's coming out. And The Rock is talking about running for president in 2020. Did you see anything that was particularly presidential, or did you start sneaking him ideas at all?
I had a few meetings with him, and because I know he's an optimistic guy. He's let's face it, he could probably get far. People do what The Rock says. People listen to Dwayne. Yeah. And I could be like a kind of a buddy, like his kind of running mate, kind of, have a file, organize the meetings, do a bit of security for him. So I felt like, and this is something I want to maybe rub up against him with a bit more in the future, maybe at the premiere, remind him, because I haven't seen him since the shooting. Okay. He's so busy. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he does.
All right.
I mean, the world's so weird now. Why not?
Was there anything in particular you'd like to see him do?
Yeah, I think just sort of undo everything Trump's done.
Yeah. Perfect. Is there anything you're obsessed with in life that has nothing to do with comedy that you just like to talk about?
Well, cryptozoology would be my other thing.
Okay.
Which is the study of hidden animals. So I've been kind of doing that a lot on the side. I have a podcast called The Cryptid Factor, and we research news stories about creatures that may or may not exist, and eyewitness accounts of things, not just your standard Bigfoot or Loch Ness Monster, but anything weird, lizard men, creatures from another realm, Ropin, which are giant pterodactyl creatures, Mongolian death worms, things that people throughout cultures and history have seen. And I just love the idea that these things might exist, and I love adventure. So I love the idea of looking for these things or talking to people who believe in these things. So that's kind of a hobby I have.
ShowbizMonkeys.com.